This is Prison Mike. Prison Mike is ready to start his Amazon wholesale business. He's got a pocket full of cash, the YouTube app, and thinks he's ready to start buying pallets of inventory. He jumps over to Google, types in distributors that will make him cash fast. He finds something that looks promising, but he's so eager to start buying inventory and be just like his favorite Amazon IG guru that he doesn't even take the time to vet them out properly. He finds a product that looks good to him, wires the supplier $5K, sits back in his chair, takes a picture for Instagram to flex on his 7 followers, one of them being his mom, and then he calls it a day. A few days pass and he hasn't heard anything from his supplier. No inventory, no emails, calls, or text. He reaches out to them, they don't answer, and he never hears anything back. A week goes by, then 2, and then reality sets in. That money's gone. I don't want you to end up like Prison Mike, so in this video, I'm gonna show you how to properly find suppliers and vet them out to make sure that they are somebody that you actually want to work with, that is legitimate, and that is ready to help you build your business. Now, I've been selling on Amazon since 2018, helping thousands of people make money on the platform doing arbitrage, wholesale, and brand direct. And one thing that I can tell you is that there are more fake suppliers now than ever before. So having the ability to vet out these suppliers to make sure it's somebody you actually want to work with is massively important. Everyone thinks that the most important thing when it comes to wholesale is just simply finding the supplier. And yes, that is important, and we are going to talk about that in this video, but being able to vet a supplier is infinitely more important because you never know what supplier you're dealing with. It could be a supplier that is completely authorized and legitimate, ready to go, but it could also be a supplier who is not even real. You're going to send them your money and you're never going to get anything in return. You're going to end up like Prison Mike, who we talked about earlier. Or you're going to buy from someone who is not an authorized supplier, and if Amazon comes knocking, you're going to run into problems. Or you're going to end up buying from somebody who's just a nightmare to work with. Now, I've split this video up into 3 separate parts. Part number 1 is suppliers to avoid. This is going to give you an overview of what are some glaring red flags that we absolutely want to avoid before we start our search. Part 2 is going to be how to find suppliers. And part 3 is going to be how to vet suppliers properly. This will be the most important part of the video. You do not want to skip this part of the video, trust me. Just to make it crystal clear how important vetting is, I recently stopped one of my clients from placing a $30,000 wholesale order that would have either 1, lost him his entire account, or 2, lost him his entire investment. That is how important vetting is, and we're going to go over the same details that I used to identify that supplier in this video. Let's get into it. Part 1, suppliers to avoid. Now, before we start diving into the supplier search, we need to go over a few red flags that will help you speed up the process. If you don't know any red flags and you just start putting all of these suppliers on your list to contact, you're going to think you have a list of 50 good suppliers that are good enough to contact, but in reality, you only have maybe a list of 15 or a list of 10. So these are super important to save you time, and you're also able to identify, hey, this is already a glaring red flag. Let me just move on. Red flag number 1, Amazon-focused suppliers. Guys, I've been saying this for a long time. If the supplier has FBA or Amazon in the URL, in their name, all over their website, 9 times out of 10, they are not going to be a good supplier for you. If a supplier is serving you up products that are profitable on a silver platter with the ASIN, with the direct Amazon link, guys, I'm telling you right now, that supplier is not going to be authorized. As tempting as it may be, it is not worth losing your account. You have to come in with the mentality of, I want to make money on this platform for years and years to come. Most people who end up getting Section 3'd or shut down because of using these bad suppliers, they come in with the mentality of, I just want to make money today. And if that's your goal, you can do it for a quick buck, but you're not going to be around very long. Anytime a supplier is hyper focused on selling to FBA sellers, I'm telling you, they're not authorized. Most suppliers that you end up working with, they have maybe a general idea of FBA, kind of the concept of how it works, but they're not super sophisticated on the platform enough to find you the ASIN, give you the direct link. They have so many other things going on and selling to much bigger fish than just Amazon sellers that they're not going to be doing that. Red flag number 2 is Telegram groups. This one is massive. I see it happen even amongst my members in my private community, and I always tell them, don't buy a single item from a Telegram group. No supplier is going to be in a Telegram group sending you leads right to your email. If you just go into it with the belief of, if it's too good to be true, chances are it probably is. It's going to serve you well, because sometimes you're going to get these Telegram groups that have these crazy margins and you're like, wow, like I'm going to jump all over. This is super tempting, right? How do you think they're getting those crazy margins? Do you think they're getting it because they're an authorized supplier buying directly from the brand? Maybe. More than likely though, they're selling you liquidated products that are repackaged as new, and they're just selling you the dream, right? And if you're selling liquidated products, that's already a bad sign, which we're going to talk about later. But we're trying to sell new. We need to verify the supply chain. If they're coming through Telegram, I have never seen one success story come through Telegram. Amazon came knocking and they didn't have any issues. Doesn't exist as far as I know. Stay far, far away from suppliers that are promoting their Telegram group. Red flag number 3, Wholesale Central. This is a supplier database. This used to be a decent way to find a supplier about 5 years ago. I ended up taking this whole section completely out of my program because Wholesale Central has recently just been overrun with fake suppliers or suppliers that are not authorized. There's even an FBA section in Wholesale Central, which just goes back to red flag number 1. I can tell you right now, those suppliers are not legitimate. Some of the suppliers that some of my members use who almost got scammed out of money were coming from Wholesale Central. Okay, guys, this place is overrun with suppliers who are not authorized. This is not where you want to be getting your goods. Red flag number 3 is liquidation. We are only interested in buying and selling new items on Amazon. If we are getting products through liquidation, yes, it can be more profitable, but guys, it is not worth the risk. If Amazon comes knocking and asking for an invoice, what are you going to give them? They're not going to accept the manifest that the liquidation company is giving you if they give you one at all. This is not how you want to source on the platform. This is not how you want to sell on the platform. Remember, the goal is to make money for years and years to come and build a real business. The goal is not let me make money this month and next month, okay? Come into it with that mentality and you will do just fine. Stay away from liquidation. If you want to sell liquidation on eBay, by all means, but it's just not the way to go when we're selling on Amazon. So this is the Google Maps method. Now what you're going to do is you're going to use this method to find suppliers that are a little bit closer to you, even local suppliers in your area, depending on where you live. Now this method works really well because there is something powerful about being able to go in person and talk to your supplier that immediately sets you apart from the hundreds of people giving them calls and trying to open accounts. They are able to put a name to a face, and building a relationship is significantly easier. So we're going to use this method to find suppliers that are local to us. What we're going to do is that, let's say we're in LA. So we're going to go to LA. We're going to be on the Google Maps section. And now we can simply just type in wholesale or distributors. That is something that we can do. So I just typed in distributor and it is going to give me a lot of results, but not all of them are going to be specifically distributors, right? So it's just going to be a different kind of business, but there are going to be some like Palladium wholesale distributors. Let's see who else. LA produce distributors. So there is going to be some suppliers in here, but it's just going to be too vague of a term. So it's going to lead to so many different search results that we're going to have to then comb through. So if we type in wholesale, it might help us a little bit more too. But what I like to do is get a little bit more specific like we've shown in other methods. So if we come up here and we just type in grocery distributor, so then it's going to give me distributors in the grocery category or whatever category that I'm looking into. So these are all grocery distributors that then we can go and follow the vetting process and see if it's somebody that we want to work with. Now we are looking for brand name wholesale suppliers. Yes, we want built-in demand into the products that we're selling. But sometimes depending on the brand, even if we haven't heard of it before, we can still take that brand, plug it into Amazon and see if there's any demand so that we can sell it as well. What most people do, and I think this is a mistake, is that they only worry about the biggest brands you can find. So if they're selling these massive brands that I'm familiar with, okay, then we can go and open up a wholesale account. But keep in mind, there's thousands of brands that you've never heard of before, but they sell really, really well. So if you just walk right by them, then you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. Now, let's get a little bit more specific here. Let's type in something like hot sauce distributor. So what this allows us to do is to get a little bit more niche into our search. Okay, so like look at this one, Rivera Produce Corporation, African and Caribbean food distributors. So we would click on them. That's the only real result that it gave us by typing in hot sauce distributor. But that's okay. It still gave us one supplier that then now we can go and contact, which is very different than just typing in grocery distributor. Now we have African and Caribbean food distributor. So it's a little bit more niche. I think niching down in wholesale is very, very important. It's super valuable. All right, so now what we can also do is just type in a different niche, right? So I typed in Mexican food distributor. You can also type in a brand. We can type in Cholula. We can type in Tapatio, whatever it may be. and we type that in distributor, and sometimes it's going to give us good results, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's going to give us a bunch of retail locations, which is not what we're looking for, but sometimes it is going to spit out different suppliers. Okay, so like we have a supplier here, we have a supplier here, we have a supplier here. Let's go, let's just do this one real quick. So we'll open this one up and we'll take a look after. Okay, so let me give you a couple more ideas. Remember though, whatever I type in here, everyone and their mother is going to go and type it in. They're going to search for these exact same suppliers, and they're going to be like, oh look, I found a supplier. It's like, no, you just found what everybody else is finding. I'm just giving you different ideas to get the wheels turning, but don't just go exactly what I'm looking at, because you want to look for stuff that not everyone is going to be looking for. Okay, so now we typed in tattoo distributor, and we can see that there's different tattoo shops or tattoo suppliers that we can potentially look into and see if it is somebody that we can work with. Okay, different niches are going to be slightly different. What I found in the tattoo niche is that typically we don't want to see pricing on the websites. In the tattoo niche, everybody shows their pricing for the most part. So what you can also do is just reach out to the brand and see if you can find their authorized distributors directly. Okay, so just keep in mind, different niches, sometimes things are done a little bit differently. All right, so this is Mex-Max, the Mexican food supplier that we found, and you can see that they have a bunch of different products, a bunch of different brands that they're showing on here that we're familiar with, and we can go and try to open up a wholesale account with them after we've gone through the vetting process. But very, very simple method. Again, just go to Google Maps, type in a niched down version of what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a distributor, don't just type in distributor, type in grocery distributor, hot sauce distributor, Mexican food distributor, Caribbean food distributor, stuff like that, in order to help you niche down and find different suppliers that weren't popping up earlier. Okay, so like this supplier was not popping up for us at all until we niche down, and then it really showed us where to look. One thing that I want to mention before we actually start the vetting process, now that we found a bunch of suppliers, is that you will 100% run into gated products. This is just part of selling on Amazon. Every single person goes through it. I went through it in 2018, and you're going to go through it right now as well. And this is something that's going to be part of your journey throughout. But I can tell you that in the beginning, it's probably the biggest obstacle that you have to overcome. And it's also one of the biggest reasons that leads to new sellers quitting the platform altogether, even though there is massive opportunity and money to be made with Amazon FBA. But to make your life easier, because I know you're going to run into this, I wanted to give you this free auto ungate list that I created. This has over 200 brands. These are auto ungated brands or potentially auto ungated brands that you can plug into your Seller Central account and potentially end up selling today. One of my clients used this list and got ungated in over 114 different brands. These are 114 new brands that he can dive into and potentially source items from. Now, I want to give you this list completely for free just for staying this far into the video. If you want access to it, go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram. Just tell me that you're after the auto ungate list. I will send it over right away. No strings attached. I don't need your email. I don't need anything from you. Again, just as a thank you for staying this far into the video. I will also leave my Instagram link down below in the description. Again, if you want it, you have to send me a DM on Instagram. But again, completely free, no strings attached. Part 3, how to vet suppliers. Now, there are 3 different phases when it comes to vetting your suppliers. Phase 1 is the website audit. This is going to be the primary focus of this section, but it's going to determine whether we even want to contact the supplier or not. Very important in the start. Phase 2 is the first contact, which we're going to touch on as well. And then phase 3 is the first 90 days, which we will cover at the end of the video. So let's jump back into the computer so I can show you what this looks like. All right, so as we're going through this section, keep in mind everything that we talked about in the vetting process. And we're also going to be talking about different concepts on here as well. But you can see right here, this one's called Amazon Wholesale Supplier. Okay, we've talked about earlier, if it says Amazon, if it says FBA, it says e-com, and they're catering just to Amazon or e-commerce sellers, it's just a bad sign, because they have such bigger fish to serve that they're not focused so much on whether they're catering to the Amazon FBA market and giving you leads on a silver platter. It just doesn't work out like that. So one thing to look out for too, guys, is that your supplier is going to have different types of products, but they're related in category or somehow closely related. So think of like video games. They're going to have video game accessories, video game consoles, video games, video game gift cards. It's all relatively close in the same niche, okay? Sometimes they're in different niches, but they're related, right? So if we think about like a sports and outdoors category, let's say we go to a supplier that deals with just camping. They're gonna have tents, they're gonna have boots, they're gonna have gear, they're gonna have lights, they're gonna have stuff that's related, right? It's different, but it's still related. Now, what you're going to find with a lot of these suppliers who are just buying stuff through liquidation or it's counterfeit or wherever they're getting their information or their supplies, is that they're going to have a bunch of different types of products because they're just trying to grab whatever they can find that's going to be profitable or going to be able to fly off the shelves in order to sell it to you guys, okay? And again, keep in mind, I'm not working with any of these suppliers. These are just examples, in my opinion, but these are just different things to look for when we are going through the vetting process. So we have cleaner here, then we have supplements, then we have acne, then we have skincare, okay? So these, not as different, it's not drastically different, but if we go to view all, this is all they have. Like this is their hot selling products. They have 5 products as far as they're showing us. So what we can also do is go to brands and we can see that they have dog food, they have grocery, cat food, paper towels, protein powders, little all over the place, skincare, right? So this should be raising some red flags for you if you're trying to sell this stuff on Amazon. So what we're going to do 100% of the time is we're going to grab their address and we're going to plug it into Google Maps. All right, so we plug it into Google Maps. It is in a commercial location, but this is not the business. I've already looked at the sign right here. That is not the business either. And if you zoom in, you can see the different businesses that are located here. And that supplier isn't going to be popping up whatsoever. There's no building that's going to say Amazon Wholesale Supplier. And then I also looked around this parking lot, couldn't find it, but it's kind of hard to show you guys. So I wanted to show you from an aerial view that supplier is not going to be anywhere near here. It's not going to be anywhere at all. It's going to have a location, but it's going to probably be registered to a different business. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our supplier. We're going to grab the URL, but just the name, okay? So AmazonWholesaleSupplier.com. We're going to go to Google. We're going to enter that, and we're going to enter reviews. We'll go to Trustpilot, and then we want to look at the negative reviews. That is what we're interested in. So you can see right here, fake, and this was just a couple months ago. Not an Amazon wholesaler. Why do you need my Amazon ID? So they're asking for your Amazon account info. These people literally steal your money, and we're going to have doubts on them. Talk to me. I can show you scammers, thieves. Scammers, scam, stay away. Fake company. So you can see that, okay? So we have very clear signs that this is based off of our business model. This is not somebody that we want to go and work with. So now let me show you a different one. This one's Brand Masters. This one is going to be enticing for the people that don't know what to look for, okay? So we go on here. Again, we're interested in brand name products, right? So, oh my God, they have Lululemon, they have Vital Proteins, they have Rogaine, they have Pete's Coffee, they have whatever brand this monitor is, they have phone cases, they have this, they have that, right? Already very different. We have electronics, we have shoes, we have phone cases, we have hair products, right? And looks like there's Huggies back here, right? So very different. And then we also have knives. Drastically different, but again, somebody brand new is gonna come in here and they're gonna say, oh, they have brand name products. We're interested in this. Yes, let's go open up a wholesale account. You wanna just be a little bit more cautious just to make sure that it's somebody that we actually want to work with, okay? So we have knives, we have automotive, we have supplements, we have gel, we have toilet paper, we have protein, we have coffee, we have drastically different types of products. Okay, let's go down here. And again, we are going to look for their address. Okay, we're going to grab that. So we plug it into Google Maps. And as we can see, this is a residential area. That supplier that was selling Lululemon, shoes, Huggies, Pete's Coffee, all of these massive brands. But if we type it in to Google Maps, we can see that they're operating out of their house. Okay, so I don't need to tell you that that's a massive red flag. So what we're going to do now, we're going to grab that URL. We're going to go over to Google. We're going to plug in the URL plus reviews. Go to Trustpilot. We want to see the negative reviews. And we can see what people are saying here. And this is a quick note. Sometimes what you'll see with these suppliers is that if they're getting a lot of bad reviews, they will start to add a bunch of positive reviews that aren't real, okay? Because they're trying to help their ratio here. Because no supplier that's going to go on that has a Trustpilot is going to be like, oh shit, like we have 60% negative reviews and 10% this and 12% this. We want more 5-star reviews, so they're going to go and add it. Not saying every time, but that's why we focus on the negative reviews. If they're overwhelming, then yeah, that's an issue, right? We have all of these. It's not just one person. We have all of these things, plus we have what we're seeing on the website, plus what we're seeing on the location. All right, guys. So if you need to rewatch this again, rewatch it. Take your time when you're vetting out these suppliers. There are more bad suppliers now than ever before. So take your time, understand what you're doing, understand what you're looking for, and it's going to help you tremendously. Now that we went through the website audit, I wanted to talk about the first 90 days. Guys, just because a supplier is authorized and they sell good products doesn't necessarily mean 100% of the time you're going to want to end up working with them. I've worked with a couple of suppliers who have been authorized, but they've just been a nightmare to work with. They're either sending stuff way too late, they are difficult to communicate with, they are sending in the wrong inventory consistently, they are, for whatever reason, just not doing things right that you would expect from a big supplier. Yeah, they're giving me profitable inventory, but I'm also starting to have issues with my Amazon account because they're sending in the wrong amount. They're sending in the wrong units. Okay, this has happened multiple times. Also, sometimes you're gonna run into a supplier, it's just difficult to work with. They're just a hard person to deal with. So at that point, you have to make the decision. Do the pros outweigh the cons? But I don't want you to be like, I have to only work with one supplier because there's not enough suppliers out there. Guys, yes, wholesale is a numbers game. You will be reaching out to a lot of brands and a lot of suppliers, but don't have the mentality of that there is only one and you have to just take whatever you can get. I made that mistake in the beginning and it fucking sucks, okay? So just keep in mind, the first 90 days is we're watching what they're doing. Are they fulfilling orders in time? Is their lead time outrageous? Are they sending in the correct units? How's the quality? We're just checking in. How is the process within those first 90 days to make sure that we want to continue working with the supplier? Now, like I said earlier, you will 100% be dealing with gating. You're either going to run into gated brands, gated categories, subcategories, or gated products. Now, because of that, I went ahead and made this video right here, essentially teaching you how to go from beginner to expert when it comes to ungating, giving you suppliers to use for ungating, giving you the process for getting ungated, even showing you how to source when it comes to being gated and everything and how you're going to overcome that. I want you to watch that video next. But if you're tired of being on the YouTube hamster wheel and you're tired of not seeing the results that you hoped for when you first jumped into this business model, guys, I want you to check out that first link in the description. That is my one-on-one mentorship program where I've helped thousands of people make money selling on Amazon, doing arbitrage, wholesale, and brand direct. Guys, like, look, this is Trevor and this is Alex. Both of them started working with me and we successfully got them into brand direct. Now they're doing 30K a month. Trevor's doing 6K in profit. And they did this in 140 days and 5 months. So they have built a full-time income online doing brand direct. I already have the blueprint. I've already helped thousands of people do exactly what you're trying to do. If you want to speed up the learning curve drastically, go ahead and click that first link in the description. Also, if you want that auto ungate list completely for free, no strings attached, go ahead and shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll send it right over. I appreciate you guys watching and I'll see you in the next one.